I was recently thinking a lot about falling under the sword and shield, because I have the feeling that my current interpretation is not correct, but I might have a new one and a better one. So I have interpreted the action of falling under very early. It was one of the first techniques from 133 that I have interpreted. It was like a year ago. And my interpretation was that falling under is a simple defensive reaction that looks like this. Generally, something is coming at me from above, and I am defending by throwing both weapons forward and up to stop it. This was my original interpretation, and it was in fact pretty good. It fitted well in all the plays of falling under, and it was martially plausible. Of course, this is not especially clever, but very simple and very functional defensive action. So it worked, and it was all good. But as I was progressing through the interpretation of 133, as I was interpreting more and more sections of the manual and more techniques, I started to encounter problems. First thing was that after I have settled on interpretation of Schutzen, which was pretty difficult, but I have settled on something in the end. I believe that Schutzen is a simple parry, simple parrying position, a parry with both sword and shield together. And when I finally settled on this interpretation of Schutzen, I have realized that my interpretation of falling under is in fact awfully similar to the Schutzen, especially to this Schutzen, this one, this Schutzen from. It is shown for the first time in the section of pre-special points somewhere. This type of Schutzen, in fact, should work in the same way as I thought falling under works. It is generally the way how to block the strike from above. And the position is extremely similar. So suddenly, I couldn't find any important difference between my falling under and this type of Schutzen. It works the same. Maybe there are some little differences with the position of the sword, but that's all. They should work the same. But 133 never draws any connections between falling under and Schutzen. Based on the manual, this should be different things, but suddenly they looked very similar. I have found another problem later when I have developed my understanding of images of 133. I have done a long video about it, but just to summarize it, I believe that the images are realistic, and they are showing the real situation that the illustrators were watching when they were drawing. But the real situation was distorted by the graphical style that they were using. So the images often look weird, but they are weird because of the graphical style, and the graphical style had rules. So now we can look at the image, apply the rules backwards, and extract, decode the original real-life situation from the image. And I am pretty sure that I can do it reliably. And just to cut it short, if you look at the image of any image of falling under, I am very sure that the height of hands above the ground, like how high the hands are of the one who is doing falling under, this is the realistic feature of the image. So if in the image we see that the fencer has hands quite low, it means that he had hands quite low also in real situation. But that is a problem, because in every image of falling under, we see hands like this. But in my interpretation of falling under, this interpretation was based on raising the hands above, because I was hiding behind the hands, behind the weapons in the hands. So suddenly there was this difference and suddenly I have seen that my interpretation of falling under just does not match the images. Before I was content with the fact that the final position somewhat resembles the image, but now, as I believe the images are pretty like realistic in their own way, I believe that this just cannot be what they have drawn in the image. So I started looking for a different interpretation that would be true to the images and to the other techniques, but would also be martially plausible and would fit in all the place. And I have come with a possibility that falling under might in fact be a hand snipe. Now, this is certainly not a new idea. I have thought about it very early. This was one of my first ideas when I was interpreting falling under a year ago. Because in the images you can clearly see that the one who is doing falling under has the tip of the sword very close to the hands of the defender, well, attacker. It is a reaction to attack. So to the hands to the other one. And the tip of the sword is not exactly striking hands, but it is also very close, and this can be, and I believe it really is, a safety measure that they were using when training, because they didn't want to strike each other's hands. So they were intentionally aiming a little bit above hands, and that is what we see in all the images. But it is clear that there would be a possibility to strike hands. So this is not new, and I was not certainly the only one who has ever thought about falling under being a hand snipe. But I had the problem from the very first moment. There was this problem that I am reacting with my hand snipe to the opponent attacking. So the opponent is striking a half shot, a descending cut at my head, and I am going for his hands. It is possible to snipe his hands. Of course, he is not defending them because he is attacking. But I am not dealing with the attack that is coming at me, and that is problem. I can snipe the hands of the opponent, but at the same time I have to somehow defend against the attack, and I just couldn't see any way how I would do it, especially while holding hands low, because the position that is drawn there is something like this: hands low, snipe low, but the strike is coming at my head. So I just couldn't see how I could do this hand snipe safely without getting hit. But now I do see it, and the key to the realization that it is possible was in fact the observation of one of my viewers who commented, I believe, under the video about the images of 133. And I don't remember the name, sorry about that. But he notified me of a very interesting thing, which is that the distance between the two fencers in every image of 133 seems to be realistic. So the distance between the fencers that we see in the image is one of the always realistic features of the image. And this is a great observation because it seems absolutely correct. If you look through the manual, you will see that the distance between the fencers is changing. You can see when they are closing the distance. If they are getting into grappling situations, you see that they are closing in. So the distance between the fencers really seems to be captured realistically in the image. And this was a great observation, and it unlocked the way how I believe falling under can defeat the strike from above. Because if you look at any play of falling under, this play always consists of two images. First image is the attacker who is half on the way while cutting half shot, so he is in a position like this. And on the other side is the defender who is in prima custodia or pre-special long point or something like that. So this is the first image. And the second image is the attacker still in the middle of cutting half shield, and the defender has done his falling under. This is the second image. And if we look at these two images, we can see that the distance between the fencers changes. In the first image, they are closer than in the second image. It is not exactly necessary to look at the distance of their bodies, but just look at where the attacker, the one who is doing half shield, where he can reach. Because if you look at the first image, you see the attacker in a position similar to this. But if you would turn his sword forward, you can see that he would hit the head of the defender. So in the first image, he is always aiming for the head of the defender. But in the second image, if you would do the same thing, to turn the sword forward, you will see that he will miss the head, because they are a bit further from each other. He could still hit hands, but not the head. So it seems that the defender between the first and second image stepped back a little bit, so that he is a little bit out of reach. His hands are still in reach, but his head is no longer in reach. And this is exactly the way how he can effectively defend against the strike from above. So this seems to be the missing piece that can interpret falling under as a functional hand snipe in response to the attack to the head. So the concept is following. I am in prima custodia and the opponent is attacking me with half shield like this. So he can reach my head. What I will do is that as he is attacking, I am stepping back so that I am saving myself by retreating too far. So he won't hit me in the head, but I will also push my hands forward. Like this. So the opponent can't hit me in the head, but he will hit me in the hands. But it doesn't matter because I'm covering my hands with a shield. And now this situation is perfect for hand snipe. I am pushing my hands forward because I want to be able to snipe his hands. That is the idea. So I am in fact saving myself by pulling back, but at the same time I am striking the hand of the opponent here. And this, I believe, is the falling under, and this is the position that pretty much we have in the images. Not from the opponent is drawn in the images in like this half cut, so his cut has not yet landed. But my position as falling under is exactly this. And what will follow then is that if my opponent is a common fencer, he will go for my head. So he strikes at my head, I am sniping his hand. Maybe I have hit, that's great. Maybe I have not. If he has his hands lower, I might not be able to reach his hands. But still, we are in this position. And if my opponent is a common fencer, he will strike at my head, like this. But that is what I know that will happen. So my response to that is Stichschlag. And I am hitting him. So here is the idea. When doing my falling under, I want to have my hands low to easily strike his hand, possibly, if it is possible, maybe I won't, but to give my opponent opportunity to thrust through the middle, because I want him to thrust, because I will solve this thrust with a Stichschlag. If the opponent doesn't do anything, if he stops when we meet here, I can do the Stichschlag by my decision, from my own initiative. This is also the play. These are the plays at the end of 133. what is the recommended solution from the priest for this situation is to do a rebind and then shield slug. So again, the opponent is cutting at me, I am falling under, I am going for his hand, and now maybe I have missed his hand because he has the hand slow. By the way, this situation with hands very low, this half shield with hands very low, is something that we see sometimes in the images. Not in every falling under play, but in some. And possibly, maybe, to cut half shield like this, so I'm cutting high, but I am keeping my hands low, is something like a prevention against hand snipes, because the lower my hands are, the harder it is to go for them. So back to falling under, the opponent is cutting half shield at me and he has hands low. I am falling under and I am not hitting his hands, so we are like this. And the correct solution from the priest should be to do a rebind, shield slug and hit me. And here notice that the opponent, when we are in this falling under situation, he has two possibilities. He may strike directly towards my head, or he may do a rebind, shield slug and then strike towards my head. And that is exactly what is described somewhere in the text of 133, that common fencers go directly for the head, but the priest students put a shield slug and then go for the head. This is the text of one of the plays, and I believe this is exactly what we are seeing here. It is also possible that the opponent doesn't hit my shield at all, because he is going for my head, I am doing my falling under, but as I am going for this, he already knows that I am doing something weird, so he twists his sword to go to stop my my sword. This is how he saves his hands, and he immediately goes for the rebind and shield slug. So I believe this is how this interpretation of falling under fits in the plays and generally in the manuscript. So this is what I believe falling under might be. I am not yet absolutely sure. I am not yet firmly set on this interpretation. I have to try it more and test how well it works, look if it doesn't collide with anything. But for now, it seems very plausible. I have, of course, tried already. It seems very plausible. And for now, it is just a proposal. I'm not yet firmly set, but it seems to be the possible interpretation of falling under. It fits in the place. It explains why falling under is connected to this Stichschlag, how the Stichschlag action would work. It matches the images. It should be noted that in order to do this, I have to keep my hands low, like this. I need to have my hands low because I want to offer the opponent a direct strike to my head, direct thrust, like this. Because I want to lure him to do exactly this. Because this is the type of thrust that I will handle by my Stichschlag, like this. Because if I was too afraid and I would raise my hands too high, like this, the opponent still can strike me, but he has to go around my shield in this way. In this way he can hit me. But if I force him to do this, I will no longer be able to strike him with my Stichschlag, because as I am going for the thrust, he is defending the thrust. It is just a side effect of the fact that he is turning his hand to hit me, as a side effect, it will deflect my Stichschlag. Again. So he may not hit me, he may, maybe we will end in some like entangled position, but anyways, my Stichschlag will be defended. And this is what I don't want. So for me it is better to offer the opponent direct strike by having my hands low, so he can go directly, and that is exactly what I can effectively defend and what I can use, because here I will have the clear opening. In my original interpretation of falling under, I was working with hands high, and I have also noticed that the opponent will naturally defend my Stichschlag by turning his hand. So my idea was that I will do this, like go around his hand and strike below his hand, which is possible. It is possible to do, and it works, but it is a bit more complicated, and it doesn't fit the image that we have of the final Stichschlag. So that's why I believe it is necessary to have the hands low, and it is possible to have the hands low because I am defending by distance, not by the shield or sword. It makes sense, it works well together with the Stichschlag, and it seems to be martially plausible. Generally, the idea is that as I notice the strike coming at me from above, I am defending by stepping back. This is my defense. I am defending by stepping back, which can be always done, but at the same time, I am concentrating on pushing my hands forward and striking the hand of my opponent. So all my defense is done just by escaping back, which is natural and pretty easy to do. And at the same time, I'm concentrating just on me striking the hand of the opponent. And I can push my hands under his weapon because my hands are covered by the shield. So I don't need to think about the danger for my hands. The only thing I have to think of is how to reach his hand. So that's it. For now, I am pretty happy about this interpretation, and we will see later how it will turn out.